And I'm guessing y'all saw non-compete so people don't start the same business like within a certain amount of time.
Usually, sometimes it depends on the sector, but yeah.
So let's talk about your Washington Prison podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still going on?
That is, I think they finished season 1.
And what prison do they do that out of?
They're doing it out of Walla Walla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a federal prison or something else?
I believe it's the biggest state one. Ooh, I might have it all wrong. But it is the biggest one.
And y'all like this? Any of you like random prisoners or like
Running into them, or
like how do you do the podcast?
so it's actually really funny. They had a group inside actually that really wanted to start one, and of course they were running into friction with DOC, the Department of Corrections, to really move it forward. And so I mean, someone knew somebody who connected them to our business, and we've been trying to actually get in to do videography and podcasts in the prison. And so there was like this huge process. I think it took like at least 2 or 3 years to have the conversations, outline the plan, what is the budget to actually get to the point of recording. So it was a push and pull from both ends. There was a group inside that was like, we would love to do this. And then there was us saying,
When you say
hey,
inside, you mean the prisoners, right?
Inside, yeah. And then us on the outside saying, well, we can come in and support and actually find the funds and video edit, or, well, it wasn't video editing at the time. It's still sound, but be able to at least build the media so that people would know about the podcast.
And so what kind of stories are you trying to tell? Are you trying to tell stories like random prison, like trying to say, I know I'm really innocent, or is it more like, hey, I actually did this stuff, or like this prison life?
So it is all about storytelling, and it's not necessarily about, oh, I'm innocent, or oh, they had it all wrong. It's really about, how did I get here, and where did I like see that shift in myself, right? Because what we've seen a lot with people is that they go in at a very, very young age, right? We're all stupid when we're young. So anyone between 18, and some actually probably went in earlier depending on how far back it went, but anywhere between 18 to even 25, like they got 20 plus year sentences.
Yeah.
And so you don't know anything when you're there. So, you're in there, let's say 5 years go by, 10 years go by, and then it starts clicking for them. I'm here for another decade.
And in prison, I don't think you get rehabilitated in prison. You just get a PhD and being a criminal, right?
It's not the place where people want to give you resources, because you deserved this.
Yeah.
You were bad. You deserve being punished and alone, and you need to think about what you did for X amount of years.
And if you do get out, no one's gonna like, hey, you did your time. Here's a $100,000 job,
Exactly.
Now, of course, like, if you like went to jail for being a pedophile, or maybe you fucking raped someone, like
there are definitely ones
or
in there.
you mass murdered 3 people, you're done, right? But you like, I don't know, like if you like got caught selling marijuana or if you were like a aviation pilot, flying cocaine from Seattle, Washington, Mexico, yeah, you're okay, like.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting. All of the stories I've heard, and actually everyone that I've met that's we've worked with that has come out and has had their stories, like, it blows your mind. And I think that's where they found the company came from. It was like they had so Spencer and Vic Chopra, the founders, they were in what they call work release together. So they did their time. Now they needed to spend a certain amount of time at this like housing actually near here. You need to be in a housing, and you can leave within these hours if you have a job, right? So they met then, and Spencer's idea was, when he was in, they had people come in from the outside, so like big CEOs come in and actually listen to some of their stories, and he saw their minds and everything just shift in terms of like, wow, this person went to prison because they were selling whatever, right? Coke or marijuana or whatever. And it was like, for them, it was like, oh my God, they were just a really good salesperson. They just had the wrong product, right? And so they see these shifts.
I would argue, like, the people selling marijuana back in the day, they were damn good salesmen, damn good businessmen.
Yeah. And it's almost like they become a human again. It's not, oh, you did a bad thing, bad you. It's, oh, you are a person. You have feelings. You went through this, and you got there because of whatever, whether it was your resources, your location. And so when he saw them have the shift and like, oh, wow, I could use someone who's got some hustle like you in my business, he was like, how can I bring that to the outside world? How can I get others to understand that there's a shift, that not everybody in prison, obviously there are some, that should be penalized for the rest of your life. It's a life sentence to say, yep, I had a felony or 5 felonies or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely, like, if you have application, have you had a felony? I think that's not to be on there, right? I think this thing called remove the box movement happened a long time ago. I mean, obviously, like, if you're 34th interview, then you should be asked, like, hey, are you having any felonies? Well, yes, I do. I did whatever, right?
Yeah. Well, and Vic, he came from the production side of things. So again, Spencer being the visionary and Vic being like, oh, I already know how to work a camera. I know how to edit. It kind of just seamlessly came together, and they had this vision of getting into the prisons. Now they're doing the podcast. So
and what's the goal of the podcast?
I think there are different goals for every different project. So this one that just launched season 1 is really around the team that they've built inside and sharing their stories. And they kind of they have like a mix going on. So they're sharing history from the Walla Walla prison because it's been abused over the years. So they have history that they're throwing into the podcast, but they're also it was really unique. One of the main guys, Anthony, he actually got out during the filming of their podcast. So it actually also measures, hey, he starts at the beginning of the podcast where he got his letter that he's going to be released. And then throughout the podcast, there are bits and pieces of him actually coming home. He recorded, on voice memos, he actually got home, what he was feeling, what it's like to hear from the other guys, because now he's got this new life. He's not in every day. So it's like, it's a whole different shift, and it's a really unique storytelling. Like, I listened to the podcast and I was like, they did such a good job with the audio, with the story. And again, it just shows it's to humanize them. They went through something. They obviously got themselves there, but the results of getting into that situation, they've reanalyzed their lives. They're like, wow, what do I want for myself? Right? I don't want to be known as this person that spent 20 years and did nothing with their life.
And you ought to use it almost a way, like, like, I'm in prison, I'm getting out. I go on the podcast, I kind of like, portray me good, like, hey, Jason has these skills, help him get a job. Y'all do any kind of stuff like that?
We do work with nonprofits to help support, and actually I think there are programs now being initiated where we will help them do the resume, we'll help them gain the interview skills. What sucks though is, as qualified as you can be, you're still going to run into like housing, right? Oh, we don't take people who have a felony, or we do a background check and it's a non-negotiable, right? There are certain things that some of them are stuck, and so they have to find these creative ways. And it's hard because usually the best way to get out of it is you have support from family and from friends. And if you don't have that support, it's easy to go either back into that lifestyle or, get stuck and end up being back on the street in some shape or form.
And like, I'm sure society will never do this, but I always thought, like, most people get out of prison, it's like, okay, here out in the street, like, I always like to give, not give them $1 million, I give them something, right? Maybe 6 months money. I don't know. Of course, I don't think society will ever do that,
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I went in when I was 17. I'm getting out when I'm 40. I don't know anybody. My family's not around. Can I qualify for anything? And it's like, maybe here's $100, but it's like, what does that get you nowadays, right? It's like a phone costs money, clothes cost money. Like, even if you're gonna go shop at the Goodwill, like, you still need cash to do that. The credit is usually shot.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah.
For everyone.
I don't know this, but if you to get on welfare, you can't have a felony, do you? Or do you know?
I don't know, actually. They probably have their process in terms of, like, if you've taken this step and it failed, and then if you've taken this step, same thing with like health insurance, right? You have to have the job if the job will let you.
And you need an address to get a job, right? You know.
You have to have the address. So where are you staying? And I think that's where, like, not every state and not every program does the work release. So, like, with Spencer, work release worked out really well. And for other people, it's like, oh, yeah, or here's 2 weeks. We'll do this for 2 weeks, but then you're kind of on your own. Okay, where do I stay?
2 weeks is
How do I pay for rent?
Like 2 weeks is no time, right?
It's nothing. Yeah, it's a crazy...
I mean, having said, like, I think there's some people like deserve, like, okay, like, you did some horrible shit back in the day. Especially, like, it's my thing too, like,
and those don't let them out, right?
Yeah, this is my thing too. Like, when you're hiring someone, like, if someone like did something horrible like 10 years ago, maybe they changed, whatever, like example, maybe a bad example. Like maybe someone, so suppose someone had a DUI, but it's 10 years ago, and the DUI that killed 2 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a bad thing, it's a horrible thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's 10 years past, right? They got released. Maybe okay, maybe they changed their life.